Greetings and salutations. This is stroke by stroke, and today I thought I would show you how to use my new watercolor block. And what is a block? What's the difference between a block and, for example, this, which I've been using in the past, which is just a spiral watercolor notebook or journal. This actually is wonderful because this won't warp no matter what, because it is glued on the sides. Okay, and so I've already taken the cellophane. Thank you, aphasia. I've already taken the cellophane off of here, but I wanted to show you how to actually get something off of here. I don't know if it's going to show. You can see the light shimmering there, and then it's blank, and then it shimmers again. There's a little spot here that doesn't have any glue, and all you do is, I use palette knives. You can use a table knife, anything that is small and flat that you can actually put in this little area. That's why it says open right here. And you just come around the sides. I usually will do like 3 sides, and then the last side I can just take it off. So that was just a cover page, and you can see a little bit of it stuck over here. The paper, the cover paper stuck, but that's not a problem. So now I am ready to paint, and today I wanted to show you, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here so you can see the painting better. I'm going to show you how, instead of doing wet over wet or wet on wet over the whole picture, I'm going to contain the water or the paint within areas of water. And you can see I found my what's this called, a splint, and oh, it makes such a huge difference. It was found in the basket of cat toys. I was without it for maybe 5 days. I didn't think to look there, because it's self-serve. They'd come and get their own toys whenever they want to. So apparently they saw that as a toy. All right, so I'm just going to use my round brushes. This one is a size 6, and it's just clear water that I'm using. And I am working on getting a better rig set up here, so that you can see a little bit more of my workspace, but right now we can't. So I'm just going to paint water, and let's see here, I'm just going to do a circle, and I'm not using a stencil or anything. Some people would. If you want to, that's perfectly fine. To me, it just doesn't matter, because I'm not going for perfection here. I almost never go for perfection when I'm doing art. But I am wetting this entire circle, and you will see this, to me, is what is the superpower of watercolor, because wherever you put water is where it will go. So that's what this is about today. And I started sertraline today. It came in the mail. Sertraline is the generic version of Zoloft. You can tell my aphasia is not so great today, or maybe it is great actually, because it's really here. Anyway, yeah, and it's a starter dose, 25 milligrams, to help with my anxiety and depression, particularly the depression. It is an SSRI, very common. SSRI stands for serotonin reuptake. inhibitor. So basically it works with your brain chemistry to help you have happier thoughts. So yeah, that's where I am today. And I'm going to use some Core, QOR watercolor. And I'm going to use a fairly thin, it's got pigment, but not a ton. And I'm just going to come here and just do just a little bit. Okay. So the sertraline, I have a psychiatric nurse practitioner who, oh boy, this is very thirsty paper. Anyway, I have a psych nurse practitioner who helps me. I just saw her for the first time last week, and the medication arrived today. So, yeah. Hasn't taken effect. It won't take effect for, I might start feeling some effects of it within maybe 2 weeks of starting it. So 2 weeks from today, maybe. But full therapeutic effect isn't going to happen probably for about 6 weeks. So, and that's how those things go. And 25 milligrams is the lowest dose, I guess. So we are testing the waters, so to speak, to see. Okay, and now, let's see here. I'm going to add a different color. And boy, do I really need to have a flat surface for this, because you can see it's all pooling down here. But yeah, that's all right. It's what I have right now. So Happy New Year. It is, what is it, January 2nd, I think? I lose track, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know anymore, because I don't have a job, and one day kind of goes into another, honestly. So there's that. Yeah. And now I'm going to use some granulating colors, just because I feel like it. So, and the piece of paper, I'm going to grab it. Hold on. Ow. The piece of paper that comes here in my swatches, and the blank swatch came, and I made the swatches so I could see it. I'm going to use lilac mist as opposed to the rose mist that I had been using in previous tutorials or videos or whatever these are. So yeah, there we go. And I really enjoy just watching what happens with the paint. To me, that's very helpful. So, yeah. And to really show you what the watercolor does, I'm going to switch to my 12 round brush with just pure water, plain water, clear water. And I'm just going to come in here and come around. And I joke that my water is basically liquid stalactite. So, yeah, I can see. Oh, okay. There, see how it bled in? Okay, I was trying to leave a little white ring, and then I was going to do this where you touch sort of strategically, but okay, well, it beat me to it, so that's all right. Yeah, and you can see that even though it's clear water, it does have a little bit from where I was adding stuff. So now I'm going to come in here to my core colors, and I'm picking up kind of an orangey red. And I don't pay attention to the names of the colors so much. Feel free to if you want to. For me, I'm just putting colors in. I am not trying to mix anything particular. I'm not going for realism, obviously. Sometimes I do, but I haven't been feeling that way for a while, so I'm not going to mess with it. Okay, and here I'm just going to drop in some more of the orange. And one thing that I do pay attention to when I make pictures is whether I'm using warm colors or cool colors, whether or not the composition is pleasing. So a few things that I keep in mind, and I'm grabbing a paper towel here. I'm going to see how it's all collecting right down here. And these are the cheapest paper towels I could find. They're Walmart, great value brand or something. So I'm not spending money on fancy paper towels for what I'm doing right now. Okay, and you'll notice when I did that, it took a lot of the color out, the pigment. So that's a way. It's called lifting, when you take pigment out. So that's a way to do that. Let's see here. Okay, so things are starting to dry a little bit. And I was talking about warm colors and composition, and the two big things that I pay attention to is, generally speaking, warmer colors will advance toward the viewer, and cooler colors will recede to the background a little bit better. And as far as that composition goes, generally an odd number of items is going to be a little bit more interesting than an even number. So if you've got trees, if you have 4 trees and it's all symmetrical, that's not going to be as interesting as if you had 3 or 5 in a more asymmetrical composition. Now, of course, for every rule there are exceptions. So that is not a hard and fast rule. It's just a kind of a little guide that I use that helps me when I'm doing compositions, because I generally am not doing highly representational things. Oh, and watching that come across in meat was just so exciting. And here you can see the granulations. So, yeah. And another way to lift color is to have a brush that you make sure it's clean, and then dry it in your paper towels, and then come in here and see how it just soaked right into the brush. So this is a way to lift a little color and not have it be so dramatic as it was like when I did the paper towel. Okay. Now I'm going to do one more circle. And I'm going to try not to hit the other ring. We'll see what happens, because I already showed you accidentally what happens if you touch an area that has wet pigment with water, it will definitely bleed through. And like I said, that to me is the superpower of watercolor, because generally other media is not going to do that unless it's ink or very thin acrylic or something like that. So yeah, just a few little tips here and there as I am basically doodling. This is a color moodscape, so basically I'm playing with colors that make me happy, and that's pretty much it. In shapes that I find to be pleasing, and I feel like doing circles today, and also playing with wet and not wet areas on the paper. So yeah. And Walter, I can hear him getting ready over in the background. So okay, and now I'm going to use my core. There's Walter. You're gonna hear him in a minute. Yeah, there's that lovely rumble I live with every day when it's cold, and I hate it. This is Payne's Gray, and it's the core watercolor, and I really love how it bleeds. See, I just touched up at the top, and now it's going to do its own thing. And to me, that's just lovely. And if I was trying to do something representational, knowing that this will happen this way gives me a lot more control. And I generally prefer doing a less controlled paint experience for myself. But, you know, sometimes I'll follow tutorials on YouTube because, you know, I don't really have much of a life. Not that people who watch tutorials don't have lives. I just mean that I have a lot of time to myself. So, yeah. And I get sick of watching, you know, binge watching Netflix. So, yeah, I watch tutorials in watercolor, and you know, sometimes if I'm following a tutorial, I will do exactly what it says and come up with some very nice results. But that's not what I'm trying to do today. Today I'm just playing with color and shape. Okay, and this is now wet to the touch. See how it didn't buckle at all? I love watercolor blocks for that reason. So thank you, my dear friend who sent me this. You knew what to give. Yeah. So I'm just watching, and you can tell where it's already starting to dry, like right over here. That's already starting to dry. So, good to know. And now, ooh, it's getting some neat dendritic things happening over here. I'm gonna zoom in, and then I'm gonna move my palette, because I have my palette above the thing. And now I'm gonna move this up so you can see that? How it bleeds up into the water, and you can sort of see the shimmer a little bit. There's water here, but it's drying, and see, this is almost an entire little landscape here. You know, because these remind me of trees. This is like either a river or a road or something, and I think that's fantastic, you know. And if you know things are going to do that, then if you want to be more representational, you can actually let that happen purposefully. But boy, can you hear my aphasia today. So I'm not sure why it's strong today, but it is. So now I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to add, because I want this to be warm, so I'm going to add some Ruby Mist from my White Nights granulating watercolors. And I'm just going to have it be very sloppy, but a lot of pigment in there. So, and now I'm just gonna, oh, that looks like blood. And, you know, thankfully my DV situation did not include any blood. There was the threat, definitely, of blood. Somebody puts a gun to your head and says they're going to kill you. Yeah, and there could be blood. But my point here is I probably wouldn't be able to deal with this if blood was an issue for me. So, and we'll see. I hate when I watch videos and they have censored out certain words, and me saying blood all the time might get this censored. I don't know. But it's okay. If it does, that's lesson learned. But as of right now, I'm going with it and we'll see what happens. And like I said before, I'm doing this for me way more than I'm doing this for, you know, anybody else's approval or anything like that. Hello, Squeaky. Don't you come up here. Yeah, I have a cat who's probably going to try and join me. Hi. How you doing, bud? He's giving me headbutts. Oh, that orange is just electric. Wow. And see how I'm literally just touching it and it's just going off. And I love that. This looks or feels to me like a portal or something. So I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, my ILYA is trying to talk to me and I have no idea what it's saying. I have the volume down. I was listening to music earlier, but I wanted to talk to you instead. So, yeah, it really bugs me when the AI.
Well, hey there, Beth. Sounds like I was having a one-sided conversation with myself.
Okay, stop. Alexa, stop. It apparently wants to have a conversation with me, and I'm sorry, I'm not here to talk to my electronics. That is very disturbing to me. So, all right, well, I'm going to end the tutorial here after I just had an argument with my ILYA, and they were talking about how it was a very one-sided conversation on their part. Well, of course it is, because I was trying to ignore them. You can see how the dendrites are just growing here, and this is all, I think this is just glorious looking. You know, if I wanted to, I might come in and just do like the suggestions of one more circle just to kind of finish it, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to let this be. So I'm going to let it dry, and then when it's dry, I will take a photo and add it to the end of the video. So do what makes you happy. This has been Stroke by Stroke, and I hope you enjoyed this little playing with color and watching what happens. Happy New Year, everyone. So here it is, dry.